You know that feeling? You understand English pretty well, right? You can read stuff, maybe watch movies, okay. The grammar makes sense, mostly. But then when it's time to actually speak, it's like your brain just freezes. You're digging around for words, trying to build that perfect sentence in your head. And, the moment passes. It's really frustrating.
It really is. And often the root cause is this habit of translating everything in your head.
Oh.
Taking thoughts from your first language and trying to swap them out, word for word, into English.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today, this constant mental translation. It's like this little interpreter living in your brain for every single conversation.
Right.
It slows you down, makes your English sound maybe a bit stiff or, unnatural sometimes.
Definitely.
And it just gets in the way of actually communicating smoothly. So our mission today, yours and mine, is clear. We want to help you train your brain to think directly in English, to sort of fire that internal translator, so speaking, feels more automatic, more natural.
Exactly. We're not just going to talk about why you need to stop translate, which is crucial, obviously, but we'll give you some actual practical techniques.
Yeah.
Things you can start doing, like today, to really begin thinking in English.
Okay.
It's a real game changer, this shift.
Okay, so let's really dig into why this whole translation thing is such a roadblock. Why does it get in the way of actually speaking, fluently and feeling confident about it?
Well, think about it like this. Languages aren't just lists of words plus grammar rules, are they?
No, I guess not.
They reflect different ways of thinking, different cultural bits, different patterns. English has its own logic, its own sentence structures, idioms, ways it likes to phrase things. So when you try that direct word-for-word translation, you often end up with sentences that just sound awkward or unnatural, sometimes even flat out wrong to a native speaker.
That makes total sense. It's like trying to force pieces from one puzzle into another, maybe. They might look similar, but they don't quite fit.
That's a great analogy.
I remember doing that, trying to translate some phrase literally from my language, and the English version was just bizarre. Nobody would ever say it that way.
Right.
And all that mental work, constantly juggling between languages, that must really slow the speaking part down.
Oh, absolutely. Your brain's essentially doing two jobs at once. First, thinking the thought in language A.
Right.
And then searching for the English words, trying to put them in the right English order. And then that double process, it eats up time and serious mental energy. That's where those pauses come from, the hesitation.
That brain freeze feeling.
Precisely. You could call it cognitive overload. Your brain's just trying to do too much at once.
Okay, message received loud and clear. Stop translating, or at least minimize it. So how do we even start breaking such an automatic habit? My brain feels like it just defaults to my first language.
Yeah, it feels automatic, but we can retrain it. And the first step might sound almost too simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Just start labeling things around you. In English, consciously.
Labeling things.
Yeah. Right now, wherever you are, just look around. What do you see?
Okay, let's see. I've got my laptop here, my coffee mug right there. A notepad, pen, window, curtains.
Perfect. Just those single words. See, no full sentences needed at this point.
Okay.
The main goal here is just to build a direct link in your mind between the actual thing and its English name. No detour through your native language.
I get it.
So you see a door, you think door, see a lamp, think lamp. It's about creating those immediate connections like that.
Okay. It's like building a new direct pathway in my brain, straight from the thing or the idea of the thing to the English word, skipping the old route.
Exactly. A more direct route. And the key is doing it consistently.
Right.
Make it part of your day. Waiting for the bus. Look around, bus stop, street sign, person, tree. Just mentally tag everything. It might feel a bit weird or mechanical at first, totally normal. But keep doing it. Repetition builds those pathways in your brain. It becomes more automatic.
Like learning colors. You don't translate red, you just see red and think red.
Precisely that. Direct association.
Okay, I can definitely start doing that. Just naming things in my head. So what's technique number 2? How do we build on that?
So once you're feeling pretty okay with just the single words, the labeling, the next step is to add a little bit more. Make short, simple descriptions. In English, of course.
Okay. So instead of just chair, maybe the wooden chair or the chair is comfy, something like that.
Exactly. Keep them short, keep them simple. Instead of just car, maybe the blue car, or the car is moving.
Gotcha.
Don't worry about perfect grammar or fancy words right now. The point is just getting used to forming basic thoughts in English. Quickly, naturally. Building those little English thought patterns. See a flower, not just flower, but a yellow flower, or the flower smells nice. See a cup, a white cup. The cup is full. Simple stuff.
Okay, so we're going from nouns to really short, simple sentences, like subject, verb, object, basically. Small steps, but always thinking directly in English.
Absolutely. It's gradual. You increase the complexity just a tiny bit, but you keep that direct English connection. No translation allowed.
Okay.
We're basically teaching your brain to start the thought in English, even if it's a really simple thought at first.
Okay, I'm picturing myself doing this, walking around the house, naming and describing briefly. What comes after these short descriptions? How do we level up again?
The next technique is about narrating your own actions.
Yeah.
In English, as you do them, all through the day.
Narrating my actions.
Yeah. It helps connect what you're doing physically with your internal monologue, but in English.
Okay, so if I'm making breakfast, I think to myself, I am opening the fridge. I am getting the eggs. I am cracking the eggs. Like that?
Precisely. While you're doing something, describe it to yourself. Simple English. Getting dressed. I am brushing my teeth. I am putting on my socks. The idea is to train your brain to process what's happening right now in English first, not think it in your native language and then translate.
Right. Skip the middle step.
Exactly. Typing. Think, I am typing, looking out the window. I am looking at the trees. Whatever you're doing.
That sounds really immersive, actually, like creating your own little English commentary track for your life, even when you're alone.
It really is. And the more you do this kind of self-narration, the more automatic it becomes for your brain to just grab the English words and structures when you think about what you're doing or seeing.
Okay.
You're making English the language you use to process your daily life internally.
This is building up really nicely. Words, then short descriptions, now narrating actions. What's the next technique to break that translation habit?
Okay, the next one is a bit more interactive. It's about your immediate responses in English. When someone speaks to you in English, asks a question, the challenge is to react straight away without hitting pause to translate your answer first.
Ooh, okay, that sounds like a bigger jump. It's so easy to just fall back into translation mode when you're, on the spot.
It definitely takes practice, conscious effort. But start simple. Really common questions. Like, how are you? Resist that urge to think up a detailed answer in your first language and then translate it.
Right.
Instead, have a few automatic English replies ready to go. I'm good, thanks. Doing well. Not bad. Maybe a bit tired.
Like preloaded answers.
Kind of. The key is the speed, the immediacy. Even just saying hi back when someone says hello, that should be instant English. No translation needed.
So it's about training those quick, almost reflex responses in English so my brain doesn't even have time to think about translating.
That's the idea, exactly.
Yeah.
Quick, direct responses disrupt the translation habit.
Awesome.
Honestly, they make your English sound way more natural, more conversational. It might feel like you're just using memorized lines at first, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Over time, it builds confidence in your ability to think more complex thoughts directly in English, even under pressure.
Okay. Like knowing your phone number, you don't translate the digits, you just know them.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Direct recall.
Okay. I can see how that would be super helpful in actual conversations. What's another technique we can use to make English our sort of default thinking language?
Right. Another really useful one is to start deliberately using English for your internal stuff, like your mental to-do lists, reminders, planning your day.
Okay. So instead of thinking in my native language, like must remember to pay the bill tomorrow, I should actively think pay the electricity bill tomorrow morning.
Exactly that. Or if you're thinking about your day's schedule, think meeting at 10 a.m. or need to call Sarah this afternoon. When you consciously use English for your plans, your tasks, your mental notes, you reinforce it as your go-to thinking language. You chip away at that habit of defaulting back to your native tongue for internal stuff.
Right.
Like imagine packing for a trip. Instead of listing things in your head in your first language, try thinking. Passport, toothbrush, shirts, shoes, all in English.
It feels like you're sort of gently reprogramming your brain's operating system to run in English.
That's a great way to put it. And over time, doing this consistently with everyday tasks and plans really helps make English feel like your thinking language. Less need for translation, more fluency.
Okay, so we've got labeling, short descriptions, narrating actions, immediate responses, and thinking in English for tasks. That's quite a toolkit. Now, you mentioned earlier that native English speakers might actually think differently. how does knowing that help us?
Yeah, this is a really interesting and important point because fluency isn't just about knowing words and rules. It's also about kind of getting the feel for how native speakers organize their thoughts and express them.
Okay.
It's about tapping into the, let's say, the cognitive flow of English.
I'm intrigued. So what are some of these differences in how native speakers think and talk?
Well, one really common thing, especially in spoken English, is a preference for short, direct sentences.
Oh, okay.
When native speakers chat informally, they tend to break ideas down into smaller chunks. They usually avoid those really long, complicated sentences with lots of clauses, which might be more common in some other languages.
Can you give an example of that?
Sure. So instead of saying something really formal and winding like, considering the fact that we are operating under a significant time constraint and have a considerable number of pending items on our agenda, it might be advisable to prioritize the tasks that are of the highest immediate importance.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
A native speaker would probably just say something like, look, we're short on time, got a lot to do, let's focus on the most important stuff first.
Ah, okay. Much punchier.
Exactly. See how the big idea is broken into smaller, direct statements? Each one is easy to grab onto.
Yeah, it feels much easier to follow. So when we're trying to think in English, we should aim for that conciseness too.
Absolutely. Train yourself to think in shorter, simpler sentences. Don't feel you have to connect everything into one massive grammatical masterpiece, especially when you're starting out with thinking in English.
Right.
Breaking thoughts down makes it easier for your brain to manage, and it actually sounds more natural in conversation.
So instead of saying, because it was raining heavily and I forgot my umbrella, I got soaked on the way to the meeting.
Yeah.
Maybe think, it was pouring, I forgot my umbrella, got soaked going to the meeting. Something like that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly the kind of thinking pattern to aim for. What's another thing native speakers do?
Good question. What else?
Well, they often use quick, natural replies that aren't always full sentences.
Okay.
We touched on this with the immediate response idea.
Uh-huh.
But it's really fundamental to how native speakers interact. You don't always need a perfectly formed sentence to reply effectively.
Right. Like if someone asks, seen the new movie? You probably wouldn't say, yes, I have viewed the cinematic production.
You say, yeah, it was great. Or maybe, nah, not yet. You. Those short, natural comebacks are just, well, normal in fluent English.
Okay.
So practice responding simply. Don't overthink the grammar. Just get the core idea across quickly.
Like if someone says, thanks, just no problem or you bet.
Precisely. Efficient communication.
Okay. And what about all those little words like, like that seem to pop up all the time in native speech? What's going on there?
Filler words. They actually do have a job.
Yeah.
Words like, well, actually, I mean, they can give you a tiny pause, a split second to gather your thoughts without just going silent.
Ah, okay. Thinking time.
Right. And they also help make your speech sound less robotic, more natural, more conversational.
So if I'm not quite sure about an answer, instead of just silence, I could maybe say, I'm not totally sure about that.
Exactly. Or you might start an explanation with, well, the thing is, or describe something using, it's kind of like.
Okay.
The trick is not to overuse them. Too many likes or you-knows can get annoying, but used naturally.
Yeah.
They definitely help the flow.
Got it. So thinking like a native speaker involves thinking in shorter, direct sentences, using quick, natural replies, and maybe using fillers appropriately for pauses and flow. And underlying all of this is ditching the translation habit.
You've got it. That's a great summary. And please don't worry about making mistakes when you try these things. Everyone makes mistakes when learning a language. Everyone. The important thing is just to practice. Get comfortable thinking directly in English, even if it's imperfect at first.
Right.
It will feel more natural over time. Consistency is key.
Okay, this has been super helpful, really practical stuff. Now it's challenge time for our listeners. Time to put this into action. What's today's challenge?
Okay, for your challenge today, we want you to start that brain training right away with technique number 1. It's simple.
Okay.
For the next hour, just consciously, mentally, name objects around you in English. Look at stuff nearby your screen, your water bottle, pictures, whatever, and silently say the English word.
No translating allowed?
Absolutely no translating. Just object English word, direct link.
So if I'm in the living room, sofa, television, coffee table, remote, rug, just that.
Exactly that. And hey, if you're feeling up for it, try adding technique 2.
So short descriptions.
Yeah. As you do things in the next hour, try describing your actions in simple English sentences. Making tea. Think, I am boiling water. I am pouring tea. Walking somewhere. I am walking to the kitchen. Keep it really simple. Short, present tense.
That sounds very doable, a really practical way to start applying all this immediately.
It is, and we'd genuinely love to hear how you get on. Maybe leave a comment. Tell us one thing you described in English without translating. How did it feel? Was it easy? Harder than you thought?
Yeah, share your experience.
Exactly. Your feedback helps us, and it definitely helps other listeners who are on the same path.
Fantastic. It really is about taking those first deliberate steps to rewire the brain for English thinking.
Absolutely. Stopping the translation, training your brain with these simple methods. That's how you get over that mental block and start really thinking in English. And these techniques, they're designed to fit right into your normal day.
Brilliant. And looking ahead, what have we got lined up for the next deep dive?
Tomorrow. We're going to be diving into some really effective ways to learn English vocabulary much faster.
Ooh, that sounds useful.
Yeah, trust me, the techniques we'll cover, you won't want to miss them. They could seriously speed up how quickly you build your English word bank.
Okay, looking forward to that already. Well, that wraps up our deep dive for today. Definitely give that challenge a go.
Yes, keep practicing these techniques. And remember, the main goal, think in English. We'll catch you next time.